Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of SVG's new sponsor spotlight. I'm Dan Daly, SVG's audio editor, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Danny Abelson, COO of Audazzio. Danny, before I say anything, please, I need to say this name with an Italian accent. Audazzio. Audazzio, molto bene, ciao bella. Audazzio. Danny, welcome and tell us about Audazzio.
Hey, Dan, thanks so very much. It's great to be here. We're very excited to be members of SVG. Audazzio is a product and a technology that came out of the Comcast NBC Universal Sports Tech Accelerator that occurred last year. We were one of 10 companies selected out of over 1,000 applicants on the basis that we had a technology that Comcast felt would be particularly relevant in the broadcast space, although we believe it has applications in many other areas of sports and entertainment. Audazzio is a technology that leverages ultrasonic, inaudible sound signaling to change an image on someone's mobile device, a phone or a tablet. It's inaudible, and it utilizes a workflow that's very, very natural for the digital teams in broadcast production to leverage. But the most exciting thing about it is it effectively acts like a live QR code that no one has to scan. And in speaking with broadcasters, and we have fortunately some fantastic access within the Comcast NBC organization to speak to executives at a very high level, there's been a frustration about the QR code generally for broadcasters. They display it, and they're really dependent on people engaging and scanning the QR code for it to have any effect. But what if you had the ability to change the screens in alignment with the broadcast that didn't require the viewer to do anything? Well, suddenly it opens up a whole new marketing channel for the business folks, but it creates a whole new set of content opportunities and storytelling for the creative folks.
Right. Well, that sounds great. Looking forward to it. Got a couple of questions, though. Inaudible sound waves, it's really kind of a contradiction in terms. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, there's an absurdity to our mission in this company, which is that we're working with sound. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a live event sound engineer of over 40 years. Working with sound that you can't hear is kind of a pesky challenge because you don't have the ability to actually listen to the signaling you're creating. But the fact is, if it's going to be effective, then it has to be something that is not a distraction to people. And one advantage of working at high frequency is, to be completely open, there's not a lot of other program up there to conflict with us. So we're in an area of the audio spectrum which is below any limitations that would be placed on us by, for example, Dolby AC3 encoding. So we have to stay below 18K, which is a well-known established limitation of Dolby. And yet we want to be as high as we possibly can for two reasons. One is so we're inaudible, and two, so that we operate in a part of the acoustic band that really lacks competitive traffic. So that's why we work where we work.
Question, how do dogs feel about this?
You know, it's interesting. I have a 7-year-old retired racing greyhound named Domino. And for most of last year, I was working on this signaling on a workstation in my studio in my basement, and he would sleep under the console. He seemed not to be disturbed by this. Keep in mind, Dan, the duration of the signaling is extremely short. It's less than a second.
Okay. All right. Can you disclose what frequency you're operating in? I mean, we have a rough idea.
Well, I can say that it tops out at 18K because of the Dolby reference that I used earlier, but we don't disclose exactly the frequencies that we're using.
Nothing that's going to interact with the growing array of audible devices, Alexas, etc.
No, because one of the things we do is we're not interested in listening to the broadband activity within an acoustic space where a mobile device might be looking for the signaling. We're only interested in the specific band that we operate in. So we actually band pass everything out the minute the acoustic signal hits the microphone.
Speaking of the microphone, what happens when I was looking on the website, you could see the sound wave cartoon, so to speak, coming out to devices. What happens if an individual's device microphone is covered for whatever reason or not available for whatever reason?
Sure. Well, I mean, certainly from a privacy setting standpoint, viewers have complete control of the microphone. They can turn it off. Mm-hmm. And reminding you that our utility lives inside someone else's app portfolio. There is no Audazzio app. So for example, when integrated into the NBC Sports app, as an example, people would have the ability to go into their privacy settings and turn the mic off within the controls for their NBC Sports app. But in terms of the microphone being covered, I would not expect it to work if the frequencies couldn't get into the microphone. I certainly don't have to tell you how the physics of microphone technology.
Right. I just wanted to ask, given how important, given the manner in which the information is supposed to reach these devices.
Yeah, the experience we have is that people have phones either in their hand, perhaps on the armrest on the sofa or chair next to them, exactly, or maybe on the coffee table in front of them. Mm. And so generally our experience is that, we might miss the opportunity to signal to a device if it had a duvet was thrown over, a pillow was thrown over it, whatever. But in truth, our experience has been that the signaling is getting through in a very robust manner. Another thing that I think is a question likely to come up is how well does it work in a loud, crowded, ambient environment?
Sports bar.
Exceptionally well, because once again, we're only interested in the signaling where we operate. There's not much else up there. But I'll give you an example. I was doing testing in my own living room, where at the measurement microphone, we'd have 65 dB of signaling coming from the primary display on the wall, playing back a demonstration that we had placed in Vimeo. So we're playing back from Vimeo. It's coming out of the TV. It's reaching the microphone. It's at 65 dB acoustically. Simultaneously, I had 80 dB of Earth, Wind, and Fire playing. Okay, signaling got through just fine.
Great. To kind of close up, where and when can we expect to experience Audazzio?
Sure. So we're already in conversations with a great number of broadcast customers, mostly on the revenue side, but also on the technical side. And I would expect that we're going to see a number of proof of concept trials coming up here over the course of the next 3 months.
Great. We're looking forward to it, and we want to welcome you and Audazzio to SVG. Thanks for taking the time today, Danny.
Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it.